Hey guys, Michael Manatskynen here from the Super Investors community, and I would like to introduce Jeff Peterson. How you doing today, Jeff?
Doing well. How are you, Michael?
Awesome. So I'm familiar with your story, right? But I want to share with the world essentially like the amazingness that you've been able to do. So for anyone that is not familiar with your story, like your investing journey, can you please catch us up to speed what your real estate investing experience looked like before Super Investors?
Yeah, I started out at about 2012 and bought my first property on auction.com, doing everything kind of by the seat of my pants, hard money lenders or, cobbling credit cards together for the first one, all kinds of good stuff like that. But really just traditional find them on the market and traditional financing at that point. But started out trying to do one a year for 7 years and got to about, or one a year for 10 years. So the goal was 10 and ended up at 7. Started, figuring out that long-term rentals just don't do the cash flow right. So found out about short-term rentals and Airbnb. So we got into that and did short-term rentals, and we managed ours and others. At one point, we were managing 15, and then started, figuring it out. And then as we're going along, short-term rentals just become out of favor, right? So we had a bunch of Kansas City that got shut down by Kansas City rule regulation changes. And so that puts us kind of where we're at. Joined Sub 2, joined your community, and now we're heading down the co-living journey. So
Yes.
co-living in Colorado and co-living in Central Texas.
That's awesome. So you are not like brand new to real estate investing. You joined Super Investors after doing traditional financing, and then you were doing long-term rentals. You were
That's right.
doing short-term rentals. You were doing so well, you even started managing other people's short-term rentals. Obviously, the laws changed, made it much tougher. So what made you, with all this experience, all these deals under your belt, like why did you even join Super Investors? Like what was it for you?
Yeah, two main reasons. Really piqued my interest was the capital raising piece of it, figuring that part of it out. PMP, PML, just going to be amazing to kind of supercharge the real estate investing journey. And then to figure out that, I can buy these from wholesalers and that you can negotiate with wholesalers. So all that stuff is just amazing to me. And figuring all that part of it out was going to be very interesting to me.
Right. So the capital raising was a big one. So you were buying your deals using your own money before,
Yep. Down
and then
payments, cobbling them together, all that good stuff. Hard money lenders when I had to, but yeah, just traditional financing and mortgages in my name and my business name.
within weeks, essentially, you bought two creative finance deals, not leveraging your credit,
That's
not
right.
leveraging your own money, and they're making you, well, I know they're making you a ton of money. So,
That's
all
right.
right, we'll get into that. Before we dive into the actual deals, can you just share like your why? Like, why are you even doing all this? You had a goal of one property a year for 10 years. You wanted 10 property. Like, what is the reason behind all the work that you do?
Yeah, we had a total portfolio of 2 million and it was bringing in, some decent cash flow, but not anything what I needed to either, leave my job eventually and retire. Or I also have a daughter just started Baylor in the fall, so I have tuition bills to pay. And
Yeah.
then the retirement is not anything what it needs to be, but you got the equity and you got some cash flow coming in from rentals. But I just like to supercharge that. So
What I'm hearing is instead of hoping that it would work, instead of just, I don't know what people do. They just magically expect it to work. You took extreme ownership and said, you know what? I want to be financially free. I want to make sure I'm financially taken care of. My children are taken care of. My children, when they get older, I will not be a financial burden on them. And you made this commitment and you have continually excelled on it. Okay. That's a
yeah, and
pretty
on top of that, I joined Sub 2 with my son. He's 22 years old. He's not a college kid, so he didn't want to go to college. But yeah, he and I are doing this real estate journey together. I fully expect that he's going to be, a millionaire by the time he's 30. So we'll figure that part of it out for him
I
or
mean,
help him.
hey, he's got a massive head start because you said he's 22.
22.
I didn't buy my first deal till 24, and I'll just say it's possible. It's
Yep.
definitely possible, and he's got all the tools I wish I had years ago. Is he doing super investor stuff with you, or just kind of what is he doing?
Yeah, he's helping me analyze deals. He's become the expert at the super investors calculator for me and doing some of my underwriting. Haven't paid him for any of that yet, but maybe once we get going here, we'll figure that part of it out too.
He's getting paid in experience. What he's
For
learning
sure.
and the proof of what you are doing, it's easy for him to replicate on his own for his own deals because
Yeah.
once again, he does not need the money. It's not
Right.
does not need to be his own money. He does not need his own credit, that no one's going to ask him what college he went to. No bank is going to ask him any of these things. So the
That's right.
skills that he is developing are easy for him to replicate for his own buy and hold business. So, I mean, this is awesome to hear that you're doing it with your son. That's
Yep.
sick. I love that because not only are you propelling yourself forward to financial freedom, but you're literally helping your children do the same thing. And not only just giving them money, because I'm never that guy. I'm not the one who thinks
That's
I'm
right.
ever going to give my kids money or what. That's not what I want to pass down. I want to pass down skills and things like that are way more important. Skills, work ethic, that is way more important than just giving kids money. So that's sick that you brought them in the business. I love that. All right, let's get into the deals. We'll start high level and then, for the super investors, we'll go really deep into the numbers after. But where are these properties located?
These two properties are in Central Texas, Bell County.
Why those markets?
Well, we had three other properties in the area, so they're all running as Airbnbs, and so I was familiar with the markets. Very near one of the largest military bases in the U.S., Fort Hood, Fort Cavazos, whatever you want to call it these days. And so I was just familiar with the market and saw some good deals. They're both about 250 in market value, so that's what we're buying them at. And taking over the existing mortgages on both of them.
Yeah. So we'll get into the creative financing piece too, because that's awesome. So with these properties, what do you anticipate? Like what's going to be your cash flow? Because to put it into perspective, a great long-term rental for most people is if I can make $100 a month in cash flow, that's something I'll consider looking at. Obviously, super investors, we don't even waste our time on that. What are you anticipating as your cash flow on each of these properties?
Yeah, so they probably wouldn't cash flow on a long-term rental basis, and so that's probably another reason they kind of overlooked in the marketplace. But certainly, both of them are going to be about $1,100 a month, maybe $1,200 on one of them. We just found out that the second one we can probably get 8 bedrooms in. We're doing 7 bedrooms in the first one, so they both started out as 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And the first one's going to be converted, almost finished on the construction. It'll be converted to a 7-bedroom, 2-bath, and then the other one will be 8-bedroom, 2-bath.
That's freaking sick. So literally, you are not using your credit to find these deals. You didn't even use your own money. You bought over $500,000 of real estate using none of your own money, none of your own credit, and you're generating, what'd you say, 23 plus $100 in cash flow? That is freaking insane. That is insane. Yeah, profit, right? Like this isn't the gross revenue. That's your profit. Obviously, you have a partner in the deal, money partner. We'll get into that, but literally every part of that is like ding, ding, ding. This is amazing. Like that is incredible. And that is exactly what it's about.
Together, they'll gross 10 grand or something a month, but
wow, in revenue.
2 grand.
Thank you, CoLiving. Thank you, creative financing. Thank you, capital raising. Thank you, super investors. All right. So let's get into the weeds now. Let's start with whichever deal you want. Where did these deals come from?
From a wholesaler. And actually found it on Investor Lift. And like I said, I've been kind of scanning these markets. Anytime I see one pop up, then I was looking at it, see what it looked like. And funny enough, the first one I bought, it started out at like $15,000 or $16,000 as a entry fee. Mm-hmm. And of course, if it doesn't sell and they get closer to their close of escrow, they're lowering that entry fee down. And so I think it ended up at 11 grand or something like that. So
you didn't even have to do what I educate on renegotiating. They just kind of negotiated on your behalf because they're
just sit there and watch them.
Okay. So I just want to highlight, right? Like yes, most deals from wholesalers suck, but you were able to find the potential, like whether it was the 16K or 11K entry, I'm certain if you're making over $1,000 a month cash flow, that wasn't going to be the differentiator.
That's right.
What was the differentiator was you were equipped with these superpowers that you can actually analyze a deal, not follow a rule of thumb, not take the shortcut, not say this may or may not. Like you literally analyze this deal, determine this was a great deal for you. You're going to generate over $1,000+ in cash flow, where this was discarded by a lot of other people because they could not find the potential, the diamond in the rough in this deal. Is that fair? I mean, that sounds
fair enough. And 2 other things too. I had multiple exit strategies in mind. So if CoLiving wasn't going to work out, I could still do it as an Airbnb, just like I was doing on my other properties in the same market. So
I love that
strategy still.
And when you buy these creative deals, like another cool thing is as a third exit is I don't like to buy properties for the with the intention of solely like wrapping them out, like selling them to another to someone who's going to live in it. But once you get to the point in which you can cover the mortgage a little bit and you have flexibility, if you are not able to make it profit as a rental, you always have the potential to then just sell. If you got into it for 16K or 10K, you can easily sell it to someone else for 20, 25K who wants to actually live in the house as well. So you have an additional exit strategy that, it's not your primary intention. You want to keep it because you want all the ownership benefits, but you always got another way out, which is sick. Okay, so I just want to highlight, right? Why was it important? Like, why are we even looking from deals from wholesalers in the first place?
Yeah, I think finding things on market, just you have to negotiate everything. You gotta do your own marketing. You gotta figure all that part out, right? I mean, like you asked me, did I spend any money on marketing? No. Did I have to do any of those things? Nope.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it
Yeah,
just for everyone in the audience, right? How many motivated leads did you have to pull off? Like how many motivated leads do you have to grab from a
zero,
CRM or PropStream or whatever?
zero, right?
How many did you skip trace?
None,
How many sellers did you have to cold call that hung up on you and talked crap?
none,
How many of those did you have to have like follow-up calls with 10 or 11 times?
none,
How much money did you spend on your marketing costs or the CRM for
zero,
this? Or
yep,
you didn't spend
zero.
you didn't waste any time. You didn't spend any money. And you're the one who's buying the deal, making over $1,000 a month using none of your own money or your own credit.
That's right.
That's super awesome of you. Yeah, it was a round of applause for that. All right, that is amazing. So, with that being said, you still have to analyze deals to figure out if this is the right one. So, when you first found the deal, how did you know this was going to be a home run? Like, how did you determine that? When you just saw this deal where everyone else overlooked, how did you even think like this is the deal?
The payment was less than my current Airbnb that was operating there, and it was the same size property, same market. So pretty much knew that it, at least had a chance as an Airbnb. But
Hey,
digging
can
into
I?
the super
I don't,
investor calculator
I
helped
don't
me
want
out
to interrupt
there.
you, but I want to highlight that. So you understood your buy box, you understood your numbers, so then you leverage that experience to say, "Hey, I know that it could at least work as a short-term rental if it needed to."
That's
Right?
right.
Like that was because you understood your market. That's why I highlight it's very important. Like you build this skill set so then you can quickly filter out, is this something viable or not? When people are hopping around I have a dozen markets. I have built my way to a dozen markets. I bought all of my rentals in one market with one strategy before I started. Sounds like you were very adamant about learning your market and quickly filtering it out. But then I think you were getting to the best part, how you actually knew this would be a great cash flowing co-living because you obviously didn't go the short-term rental route.
That's right. Yeah, we dug into the super investor calculator, plugged in all the numbers, figured out long-term rent was going to do it. Short-term would do it, but we know that there's a lot more work involved in short-term rentals. And so looked like pad split was going to knock it out of the park. So pad split, co-living, maybe another thing that we kind of considered there is we're doing a little bit of forced equity because we're taking the garage in. So we're making 2 bedrooms in the garage, adding conditioned space in the garage. They already had laundry in the garage, but yeah, we're adding 2 bedrooms. So ended up adding whatever it is, 400 square feet of conditioned livable space. And so we got some forced equity as well. So whatever we had to spend, I took the dollar per square foot and even multiplied that out by what I bought it for to add the additional square footage. And it would come out to more than I was paying to get that finished out too.
So you're not even waiting and hoping that the market appreciates. You just literally added value day one. You added equity day one as part of your
That's right.
purchasing capital
Another
raise.
10 grand. So I'm basically the entry fee's gone. So
And I'm definitely, I know your partners are happy about that too.
for sure.
Um, okay, so you were able to find this diamond in the rough because you did not have a simple rule of thumb. You did not say, "Hey, 1% rule this." I mean, too many people have these dumb buy boxes. I don't know who started this fake buy box that everyone keeps repeating of, okay, my entry is less than 10%, my this, that. Like we talked about you analyzing the deal in detail. That's like vital. You can shortcut the ability to filter deals really quickly, but you cannot shortcut the actual analysis. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for sharing that. You kind of had both of them. You understood your market. You were able to quickly filter and see what could work. And then you actually verified it. You didn't just buy a deal because of a gut feeling or understanding a buy box.
And another thing, the interest rate is a little bit higher. It's a 7% interest rate. So it would have kind of, you talked about that generic buy box that everybody has. Oh, sub 5%, well, if the payment works, the payment works, right? So who cares what the interest rate is?
Let me try to like freestyle it. I don't even know what exactly people want, but it's like I want less than 10% entry, which sounds like this one would have fit that. You were in
Yeah, it
for
was low
close to
entry.
10% or less, right?
Yep.
You
That's
they
the cash
usually
flow is the long-term rental.
cash flow as a long-term rental, 5% or lower interest rate. What else is, I don't know, but whatever these rules of
Yeah,
thumb are, that's cool. Like that's the lazy way to invest. Please keep doing that because it leaves more deals for us to,
that's right.
Jeff is $2,300 a month richer, or him and his partners are $2,300 a month richer, 10,000 plus instant equity richer because you put in the work where most people are not willing to. Like there really is no short. I mean, there's the blueprint, there's the tools, there's the resources, but there's no shortcut for doing the work. So
That's right.
thank you for that. You mentioned you bought these subject to and you took over loans that were 7% and 5%. Real briefly, for anyone who's not familiar with subject to, you are when you were buying a property subject to its existing loan, Jeff is now the owner of the property, but the original loan that was established, it's still under the seller's name, but Jeff is the one now paying for it. That's why you don't have to worry about your credit being checked, talking to any banks. And the cool thing from people like us who are traditional real estate investors that then learn creative financing, we know how freaking I mean, have you enjoyed any of your experiences doing traditional financing?
No, the anal probe they send,
It's
give me
literally,
give me every insurance thing, give me every payment you have, give me all this stuff. And it's like, give me your last 3 years tax returns. I didn't give them any of that.
ask me like, where'd you live for the last 2 years? And all, I'm like, I don't frickin', what is this? Can I just
Yep.
buy this deal or not? The numbers make sense. Can I buy this damn deal or not? So awesome. We talked about how you found the deal, how you analyze the deal. What are the returns on this investment? Like, what do you anticipate? We talked about your cash flow is 1,100 and 1,200 bucks. Do you have like your cash on cash return roughly?
Yeah. So the all in is going to be about 60K on each. So total we had to raise was about 120K.
Hmm.
But the cash on cash return on each of them is going to be about 15 to 17% cash
Wow.
on cash return. And really that's, you can't ask for much more than that. I mean, that's pretty decent.
You cannot ask for much more than that. I mean, people who are also saying, I want 25, 30%. Great. We'll just keep buying all the deals that are actually making us wealthy, especially making us financially free through the cash flow. And even better, using other people's money. Like literally, those who are greedy will never get anything. And those who are lazy will also get freaking nothing. So I don't know what to tell them. Proof of concept here. So you
Yeah, and
mentioned
then on top of that too, my wife, since since we got into the short-term rentals, she was able to retire as a hairstylist, so she's not doing that anymore, and which that freed us up to get her classified as a real estate professional because she's doing all the Airbnb management, she was doing all the property management, that kind of stuff. So she's our real estate professional. So all those depreciation, all the depreciation that we get from all of our properties now goes straight against I still work a W-2 job. And so I have a nice salary that I got an offset. So I think last year, well, we haven't filed 2023 yet, but 2022, we got 12 grand back. So
sick.
it's pretty
So
nice.
I don't want anyone to miss the amazingness of what you said. So your wife is a real estate professional. We're not your CPAs. Everyone, you figure out if you're a real estate professional, talk to your CPA. But because your wife is a real estate professional, you also get the benefit of that, which means
My active income is offset. Yep.
any losses in real estate can offset your actual active income. And not only do you get the tax benefits, right? We talk the cash flow. Everyone's always focused on cash flow. You're not paying taxes. Actually, you're saving taxes. Your properties are appreciating in value and even forced appreciation.
Yep.
And every single month, your tenants are paying down your debts. So many ways to win in that scenario. It's actually freaking insane. Like I can't even, not only that, but like you literally work a job doing all this. Like how do you manage that? Like how you work in a job and you just bought two deals that are going to generate you twenty
In
three
your
hundred
spare
dollars a
time.
month
Yep. In my spare
and
time.
using none of your own freaking money. Like, I mean, how do you
Yep.
have time for this?
Yeah, it didn't take all that much time. So it was good.
That's why it's super, right? Because
That's all right.
I literally, when I built $22 million portfolio, whatever, it's come the majority of it. Literally, I just retired a couple months ago. Was the first time I retired from my W-2 world. Active duty military and then government full-time employee. There was no frill time. It was you put in the work, whether it was before and after, and that doesn't mean you have to work. I mean, I see people who are working on their business for hours a day and amount to nothing. I don't really care how much you work at the end of the day. I care about your results. I care about that you have the work ethic, but if it's not going towards the right thing, it doesn't matter. So with your job, how much time do you roughly think you've put in? for these two deals, like in totality, at least to find them and lock them up?
I'd say it was probably less than 10 hours total to lock
Wow,
them up
just filtering through deals and
and
analyzing
to,
them.
yep, yep,
That
and
that's freaking.
to close on them and everything. And now the work begins. So
Oh, all of it, literally from deal finding, analyzing, capital raising to closing, because you're building some of the
yeah,
building blocks along the way as well.
so much of the capital raising was relationship building, right? So we haven't gotten to that yet, but it's just you're talking to people. I mean, I love to talk real estate. So
Yeah, I feel
everybody I
like
talk
the
to,
best, the best way to raise money is to just talk about the thing you enjoy talking about, and making money, especially using other people's money and then giving them solid returns. That's a fun thing to
that's
talk
right.
about.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we go real briefly into your job? What
Yeah,
do you?
absolutely. I work for an accounting firm. We're a national accounting firm, and I run a line of business that implements Microsoft accounting software.
Oh, sick.
And
Okay.
so I have a team of 8, and we do a couple million a year in revenue on just in my service line. So
I would
uh,
assume you're a fairly high income W-2 earner,
yeah,
but
I do all right. Yep,
nonetheless, you're not upset with adding a couple $1,000s a month of cash flow and then
it
being able to do
helps.
that over and over again. Is that
That's right.
fair?
That's right.
That's fair. Yeah, I agree. I think everyone's so
And the
focused on
tax savings really is the big thing for that short term.
absolutely, because that will then further that extra 12,000 you got back last year and whatever you get back this year or not paying taxes is more assets. You can buy more assets. You can lend
That's
that
right.
money out. I mean, like literally, that's what supercharges it because you don't even need your real estate income to then buy. Well, first of all, you don't even need it to buy real estate because you know how to raise money now to buy it.
That's
Just
right.
freaking stick. But you also don't live off that real estate money. You can reinvest it because you have your W-2 income. It's just like this beautiful. That's why I tell people don't quit your freaking job. You can do it while you're actively working. It's the biggest superpower for you in addition to the blueprint.
Quick plug, and this may be coming soon, but the accounting software that I sell, I'm working on an investor version for buy and hold real estate investors. And it'll give you the ability to kind of get rid of QuickBooks, have one subscription. You can have unlimited number of entities, and we're working on some AI to go with it. So stay
Please,
tuned
because
on
I
that.
hate QuickBooks. I hate
Yeah.
paying QuickBooks. I don't even know what I'm doing on QuickBooks. My bookkeeper shows me stuff on QuickBooks. I don't know what's happening. If you
You
can
can
replace
delete a
that, please
transaction, it
do.
goes away.
Yeah,
So
please. Oh, really?
scary.
So it cleans up, makes it, yeah. LaShawn said you got me sold. All right, so let's get back to it.
Yep.
Management strategy. You said co-living. Why co-living? I can assume, but why is co-living the route you're going, especially as someone who's a successful short-term rental guy?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that we've been trying to go on vacation and we're still answering short-term rental guest messaging. It's just co-living doesn't have the same same requirements for 24/7 on, and I think it's just going to be lower maintenance overall. You're getting people in there that are there for months at a time, and they're not, on our short-term rental properties, we're turning it over 3 times a week. So you're giving up so much money to cleaners. You're giving up so much money to, messaging and time spent and all those types of things. And I think just co-living is going to be, the answer to most of those. Probably cut down on the work about 80%, I would guess.
Do you think you're making similar amount to what you would have as a short-term rental,
Oh,
more or
easily.
less?
Yeah. About the
Easily,
same, maybe more.
but more easily. And I talk about it's not just about the revenue or the profit, it's about the return on your time, because then that time could be used to go buy more assets, raise more money.
That and the seasonality too. So we've noticed in our short-term rentals that the summers are about double what they are in the wintertime for revenue. And so when you got that much variability, it's a little bit hard to plug in the numbers and to kind of plan out your finances. So the co-living is not going to have that same kind of variability.
So you have better tenants, easier to manage, maybe
Lower
similar
maintenance.
cash flow,
Yep.
but way better return on your time. And you're actually providing an affordable housing solution, not, and I'm a short-term rental investor as well. Like I have some properties, but you're providing affordable housing. You're helping the people that could not afford to live in the communities that they serve in. You're providing them that housing option instead of just saying, "Hey, here's another tourist coming in to enjoy this house."
That's
Like
right.
literally, it makes. I know I love co-living, so it's great to hear we're pretty much on the same page on there.
Yeah, I really do have a heart for the homeless and for affordable housing, and it's always been, short-term rentals were going to enable us to give more, maybe, but co-living is the ability to kind of live out what you believe in, kind of thing. So you're actually investing in making housing more affordable for people, increasing the supply of housing and rooms available to rent. And you're taking, rooms that may have been underutilized in the past, houses that may have been underutilized, and you're making them available to people. So
It's sick. And like, I agree with you too. And that was a big thing. Like, for me, it's not about the houses. It's been about the financial freedom so I can do what I want with my time. And as my mentor Pace said, it's not just about what you can do with your time, but the more you grow your business and the more you increase your revenue and your cash flow, the more then you can give back, not just time, but you can give back money and your influence now. As you continue to grow your influence, you can leverage that as well to then be that change that you want in the world. So I love that you're actively doing that and you have plans to continue doing that. So we're gonna talk about probably what most people are very interested in, which is funding the deal. So obviously in the super investors community, I teach you guys how to not only, find investments fairly easily, how to effectively analyze them, but one of the best parts is how you can buy the deals using none of your own money, which is literally exactly what you did. Was this the first time you've ever raised money for a deal?
it was first time.
First time. And you said you raised how much on the first one?
So they were both about 60K.
So you raised 60K on one, first time ever, 60K. So you bought it using none of your money. Then you'd raise another 60K, raise over $120,000 to buy two deals that are generating you over $2,000 a month of cash flow.
And I kind of skimmed the super investor classes on capital raising, but I went straight to the super investor calculator, pulled out the PMP tab, and sent that over, and that's what sold the deal. So
that's a great point, right? The creative calculator isn't just how to analyze the deal and then what you can offer your capital partners, but I created a whole tab that you can just literally screenshot and share that to your capital partners. Say, hey, as a private money partner, if we split 50-50, 60-40, whatever, here's returns. For a private money lender, here's how you're secured with the excess cash flow. And you actually leverage that and share that. And that was what they needed to see.
that's right.
That is
They
sick.
didn't even want it. They didn't even see the address. I sent the one guy the cash flow and the returns at the bottom. He's like, hey, yeah, let's talk.
Okay, so you mentioned how you were, the trainings that you looked at the tools and resources, really the calculator. How did you even find people that were willing to do this? Like, this all sounds like if I wasn't someone who was first mentored by someone who's done this at a higher level, or if I wasn't someone that bought $22 million of real estate using literally none of my own money, and if I wasn't talking to someone who literally just did this with two more properties, I would think this is a scam. How did you find a deal without spending any money, analyze the deal without analyze it effectively, raise the money, like you bought it using none of your own credit, none of your own money, with very little work. You worked way less hard than that wholesaler to get that deal. Like, I don't even know, like, what can you, I guess, credit this to in a sense?
Yeah, it's definitely not a scam. The system works for sure. And I was just really looking for a little more one-on-one kind of time. And sub two is great. And there's so much information, but it's like, how do you narrow it down? How do you focus on what's important? And I think the super investors kind of clarified it in my mind is like, here's the exact path. And everybody says pick the one thing, but how do you pick the one thing, right? So that it just clarified buy and hold is the way to go for sure. And using PMP partners was the way to go for sure. And so and co-living, those three things are kind of the trifecta in my mind that really led me down this path. And thanks to Michael for kind of leading us all down that path.
You're awesome. I appreciate you sharing that, not just for me, but for anyone else who's watching. Like, that's literally what this is about. A lot of things work. Most things work. You can make money doing a bunch of different things, but there's a certain type of person, myself, you, our community included, that we care about financial freedom. We want to get there ideally as efficiently as possible. Most of us have jobs. I mean, soon you'll probably be retiring. I just retired from my traditional W-2. All I just want to reiterate, you're saying you follow Super Investor Blueprint, basically step by step, and you were able to buy not one, but two investments that generate you over $1,000 a month each. You didn't use any of your own money, any of your own credit, and you did all this within literally months of joining Super Investors.
Get past the analysis, take action. That's the biggest thing you can do.
Any other takeaways like that? Because I love that. Like,
imperfect action, creates results. And then each thing that you go through, you learn a different lesson, right? So I learned, okay, what do I need to do about insurance? What do I need to do about, all those things? I found a TC that's amazing. and she's been working with me for all the deals that I've done now. And I go back and ask questions. And I mean, for the amount you pay them for post closing work, because usually you can't use your own TC. That most of the wholesalers have their own TC that they like to use. So at least these first two, I didn't have the negotiating power to
Did
make
you
them
watch
use
my
my own
trainings
TC,
on
but
that?
I
I talk
haven't.
a
That's
lot
the
about
problem.
that. A to B and then B to C TC and then the A to C who kind of does it all. Did you
Yeah.
get
So I have a post
action?
closing TC. I have a post closing TC, and I'm just learning some of these things that, as I go here. But for sure,
I mean, it took me almost 2 years of learning before I bought my first deal. And it's because I gave myself an ultimatum. And it really is like learning only gets you so far. It's important, but you're not going to understand everything about everything. Actually, you really don't need A to Z, especially if you have the right mentorship, the guidance, the blueprint that can kind of say, hey, this is what you can expect. You may not know everything up front. Don't worry. Once you get
that's
to
right.
B, we'll help you get to C, to D. And once you learn, like, I don't even have to do the majority of this work. If I find the good deal, I can leverage the tools and resources, and then I can pay the right people who I still don't know all the magic TCs do. I just know they help me get my deals done every single
For
time.
sure. Yeah.
I don't even know the right way to change out insurance. They do. I don't know.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, it's
So
been good.
any other takeaways, lessons you like to share? I mean, I absolutely agree. You got to learn, but to action, imperfect action beats
Action,
everything else.
imperfect action beats everything, for
And
sure.
it was possible for you to do with a job for the first
Yep.
time ever, leveraging creative financing, raising money. That's sick. And not only did you like do this to buy, well, not just one deal, but two deals, you now have the knowledge, the skills, and the experience to do this over and over and over again, continually building on your path to financial
That's right.
freedom and
That's
then
the goal.
providing your partners phenomenal returns. This is
I'm part of Owners Club as well, and Pace challenged us to kind of come up with the Mount Everest goal, right? And so I think originally I adopted the CoLiving Mount Everest as my Mount Everest goal, and it was 30 properties and whatever 20K a month or whatever that ended up being, or was it 20 properties 60? Anyways, whatever. I think at the time he was saying $2,000 a month is what co-living properties bring in. So I think it was 30 properties bringing in 20K. No, 30 property. Anyways, so yeah, 60K a month, I think is what the goal was. And so I think I could hit that faster than 5 years. So I think it's too small of a Mount Everest goal.
well, considering it took you a few months and you've never done it in this way, and you got two.
Right.
I agree with you, man.
Yeah, maybe we can put 20 on this year. That'd be fun.
I mean, at this point, it just becomes easier and easier to repeat. That's like you got the momentum, you got the knowledge, the skills, you got everything you need to just keep building on that. I mean, and that's why I tell people my journey was like one, and the next year was another, and then shortly after that, I bought another,
Three,
wait another year,
five,
and
seven.
I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not a linear path. It's literally, I don't want to say exponential because I actually know what that means. You know what I mean? Like engineer, like I know what exponential truly is. It's not exponential, but it is freaking fast. It is fast. It is not linear, but it is fast if you can keep building on what you're learning and doing. So all this sounds freaking sick. I don't even know if I've even asked this, but do you feel like your investment to be a super investor has been worth it for you?
For sure. Yeah.
Would you recommend this to other people?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think more than anything, it's seeing all the ins and outs, it's seeing all the detail, and that's sometimes what you're lacking when you're doing a program or whatever. It's the details of how to do this specific thing, how to do it, how to what all the steps are, and I think it's been amazing from that perspective. And again, once you kind of have the blueprint, you're just following the steps, and it's absolutely going to work. So.
That's sick. Thank you. And like this was my goal. My goal has been to help other people achieve financial freedom. I cannot force anyone to take action. Like you said, imperfect action is better than no action. I don't even care if you sit here and learn and you're an expert at my material. I care that you're taking action because that's how you're going to become financially free. Because it's not even about the freaking money. It's about financial freedom then allows you to pursue the things that you actually care about in life.
That's
The
right.
problem is money is a necessity in the world that we live in. So the sooner you can become financially free, the sooner you can actually enjoy your life doing whatever the heck it is. Maybe it is continue buying real estate. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's working with Habitat for Humanity and building houses for veterans and homeless people.
There
Maybe
you
for
go.
me, I really care about child hunger. It's something I spend a lot of time and energy on, and I care about the environment. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, what your why is after that. Once you unlock your financial freedom, once you hit that, then you can truly pursue that.
Yep.
So I love
And
it.
you asked about whether this was worth it from a coaching standpoint. I've bought other products in the past, right? So of course, part of Sub Two, member owners club, all that stuff. But even prior to that, back when we got into short-term rentals, I invested in a boot camp as well to learn about short-term rentals. Absolutely wonderful. Ended up, six figures in short-term rental. And, it was the same kind of deal, though. They walk you through step by step on how to do it and what they did and gave you, all the tools. And so I'm a huge believer in coaching. I'm a huge believer in investing in learning products because there's no replacement for somebody that's already done it, showing you how to get things done. Right.
And
So,
me too. My journey does not happen without paying for mentors to first learn about seller financing, then sub two, with Pace. It does not happen without the right mentorship. Doesn't mean I haven't wasted money on the wrong ones as well. Like it happens. Like they're not
that's
all
right.
good. Actually, the majority are bad. So when you find good ones, capitalize on it.
That's
Okay.
right.
I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate you, Jeff. Like, massive congratulations for buying over $500,000 of real estate using none of your own money, generating thousands of dollars of cash flow, using none of your own credit. Like, I mean, it literally doesn't even feel real, except for the fact that we've all done it. That's how I know
That's
it's
right.
real. So thank you, Jeff. I don't know if
Thank you.
congrats, brother. I'll see you for deals. At this rate, I'll see you for deals 3, 4, 5, and 6 in 2 weeks. So,
There you go. Actually partnering with a guy here in Colorado. So I'm the PMP on the deal. And so
hmm.
I got the third co-living deal going.
Massive congrats on that. I mean, and that's what it's about. I mean, we have plenty of community members that's the best thing to do sometimes is to start with that, build your credibility and scale from that point on. And then the goal is to do what you're doing, to do what I'm doing. But sometimes you've already had that experience of it being an investor. So it helped you.
Yeah.
Obviously, I assume that helped you in your ability to raise capital because
Yeah.
you're not just talking about it, you're doing it too. So cool, man. Thank you.